Katie will be mad.
Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Patrick Racy, Dark Star, and Sid Hartman. And we talked about the stadium for, I don't know, about the last 16 years, different stadiums. Now we don't have any, I know what we're going to be able to be angry about, but.
Can I ask you a question? Did you think they'd get the stadium?
Yeah. Why?
You never said it was going to get.
Listen, let me tell you something. I said all along they were going to get the stadium. If you're going to take my words and twist them around into the lies that you tell, you're probably going to tell these people tonight that you got the stadium done, right?
I didn't get the stadium
Is that what
done.
you're going to do?
He was
But
the first
you never. I'll tell you what.
Let me tell you what.
I contributed a lot more than you did.
Maxie,
You had nothing
Let
to
me just
do
say
with it.
this.
Maxie, you lost control completely
Let me
already.
get a sentence
Early.
in. You were the first one, though, this morning, I have to say this, to admit that this was all about Mark Dayton. It was all about Barb Rosen. It was all about Maury Lanning.
Too bad nobody heard it.
And
Julie Rosen.
Roger Goodell.
Julie Rosen. Help sit out with his collar there. He looks a little like Jimmy Dean, man.
No, that's part of the look. That's part of the look.
Okay.
Patrick, I thought they'd get it next year.
Well, you know, this is the time to get it. It's never going to get cheaper. You know, the interest rates aren't going to stay as low as they are. This was the time to get it. Plus, as I've said before, if the legislature had changed, it could have been tougher to get it through. But I am shocked that Dayton got so many DFLers to vote for it, I got to say.
I think
Dayton did a good job.
I think the one thing, regardless of what Sparky the Barking Fossil has to say here, I think the two guys you have to give the credit to are Ziggy Wilf and Dayton. Ziggy Wilf came up $50 million, and Dayton got the job done. And for a Republican to applaud that is very difficult, but he did a heck of a job.
He did. He was unabashed about it.
Well, here's the thing. The fans had more to do with it than any one person.
Those people painted in purple?
What happened, every other stadium, everybody's been against every other stadium. Just like Patrick has pointed out many times that the Twins didn't cost the legislature a nickel. Still, they fought right to the end before they voted it. The Gopher Stadium took time. The Twin Stadium took time. But this thing here, I was over there 6-7 times, and I have never seen a situation like this. These guys were singing the Viking song while the legislature was trying to operate. Mm-hmm. Those guys were actually scared that something
might happen.
Yeah.
I hope that they did. I hope they didn't decide this based on 500 idiots wearing horned hats and paint on their face. If that's how they're making the decisions, then they're really in trouble.
How did you see it, Michael?
Well, I thought it was the great moment was when Ziggy, when they sang the Skull Vikings with Ziggy, and he tried to chime in, but he wasn't quite sure of the words. And, there was kind of an awkward
I don't
moment.
think Red McCombs know the words either.
No, but again.
Here, let me just say this.
He asked me a question.
Just hold on a second. Let him finish.
I thought for a long time that Mark Dayton would be an ineffective governor. And I didn't realize, and to his credit, that the fact that he's not running for another office, the fact that he's got all the money he'll ever need, I think played in the favor of the stadium here, because he doesn't have to sit and be political and worry about the next vote. Go ahead.
I tell you, those fans had a lot to do with it. Because even what's his name, Zeller. He told me he got 2 negative deals. Only reason he didn't vote for it, he wants to run for governor.
Right.
He thought it would help him. But I'll tell you what, every place I went yesterday, I never seen anything like it. People putting their fingers up about the stadium.
You've seen that before.
I hope it was their thumb and not their fingers. It's funny, every time I go to a Gopher event, people are putting their fingers up in the air.
People are so happy. The Vikings are so big in this town, it's unbelievable, that's all.
But you know,
and Mark Wolf, he said definitely they couldn't make it in the Metrodome.
Well, yeah, but they could for the short term. It was just a question how long.
You know what drove me crazy about the whole thing? First of all, that Ziggy made this big sacrifice. This is a fantastic bonanza for Ziggy. And B, the idea that they went through this terrible struggle to get the team and they've suffered so much. They have yet to play a game that wasn't covered with the original lease. Mm-hmm. They have yet to play a game that wasn't covered by the original release.
How big do these?
Well, what's it got to do with it? You know, they did their 30 years in the Dome, and then we approved the stadium. What's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem? How much of a threat do you think LA was?
None.
Yeah.
I never ever thought they were going to move. If you're sitting and you run the NFL, there ain't no way you're going to take a successful franchise and move it. It's never going to happen. I never, ever, ever, ever.
You know, the other thing that always amazes me is they haven't had a team there in 30
What are you talking
years.
about?
Let me finish. I'm talking. They haven't had a team there in 30 years.
Right.
So what's the big deal about LA?
I think you're
Successful
more like
franchise
15 or
won't move.
16.
Cleveland was successful as heck. They moved. Baltimore was successful as heck. They moved. They
Not in this
moved
day
for
and age,
10
not since they established the transfer fee.
Tampa was all set to move.
No, not since the
to
transfer
Baltimore.
fee.
I know
You know
a little
that-
more about the
Not
NFL
since
than
it
you
was
do.
held up in court.
One thing I
know a little
found,
bit more
one thing
about
I found out looking into it, and it's probably a small piece of the puzzle, but that free $200 million that Ziggy's getting from the NFL, he couldn't have gotten that transfer into LA. It's not in the deal.
Right.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
a
true.
big chunk of money.
That's
I
$200
should be remiss too. I didn't mention everybody that were really keys in getting this done, and I apologize for that. Maury Lanning was very important too down the stretch.
Yeah.
Let me
Take a
ask-
break, come back, stay with us on the sports show.
Right.
Yeah, I was just saying, Sydney, not lost in all of this is that Target Center and TCF Bank Stadium get major upgrades out of this thing.
Yeah, they got $150 million, and since that Tim Lewicki's office took over, I talked to one of those guys in St. Paul. He told me they no longer dominate these shows and that stuff, that they have so much power. The Staples, people own Staples and Tim Lewicki, that they're getting more shows than St. Paul's getting right now. And
Well,
this is going to help them more.
The good news is it goes off the, they're taking it out of that convention money,
Right.
taxes, and it goes off the property tax rolls. Right now, the property taxpayers in Minneapolis are subsidizing Target Center, but with this tax, they'll be able to not only improve it, but they'll be able to get it off the property tax rolls.
Now, did we all agree on the break that the city council isn't going to be a problem in Minneapolis?
I don't think so.
I think because of Target Center, that won't be. But, you know, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be 2 weeks of hearing about it that somebody might change their vote. You know, so.
But RT certainly
way.
sounds like he's confident.
No way. This is one time, like the old times when we got the baseball and we got other sports, where labor and business worked together on this thing. There were some of the biggest business guys in this town. The Target guy was unbelievable. The president of the U.S. Bank was unbelievable. Escalab, is that what you call it?
Ecolab.
Ecolab.
Ecolab. He was impossible. They all got involved, and nothing will
I
happen.
have a big question.
You think there's one time put yourself on the. You think the council is going to vote against it?
No. I don't
Say-
think they can, because this thing is way too far
Way
down
too
the
far
road.
down the road.
I got a question. If we're going to put the beer garden in TCF Bank, down in that end zone, where are we going to put the extra seats? We got to have the beer garden.
Let's see. I'm
They're
trying to
gonna put
think
it.
that
They're
through.
not going to put it in the end zone.
What?
Beer garden?
They're going to put it underneath, maybe on the 50-yard line. The
beer
in
garden?
the back there.
The beer garden?
But it's going to be outside, right?
It'll be inside.
It will?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's my understanding.
So what are we going to do? Put some bleachers in down at the other end for the Vikings?
Yeah, and then they can go up too from, from 20 to 20.
Do
you
you
could
know?
go up higher
Do you know
if you
for a
had to.
fact that the beer garden is going to be inside?
That's my understanding.
Well, they'll probably have to do it now that they're getting the.
Well, the Gophers'
They're going to
budget
get
problem.
heat coils out of this too.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the Gophers' budget problems, I mean, my gosh, the Big Ten Network, then they get this windfall from the Minnesota Vikings. And they get this beer
$3.5 million.
approved. I mean, how much longer can they yell about their budget?
How much is it worth to the university, the Viking deal?
Well, it's
How much is it?
$300,000 in rent,
$3.5
plus the
million.
upgrades to the stadium, plus the heating coils underneath. I mean, all these things that are going to upgrade the stadium. Plus, they've got the alcohol approved now.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got all this money coming
Is
in.
$3.5 million a good number?
I think it's 3. Yeah, I think Sid's
that
right. I
right?
think that is the number.
Pardon me?
Is it $3.5 million a good number? Is that a good
$3.5
number?
million
If it's a
plus.
10,
Plus.
if it's a 10 games.
They're going to put the wires underneath the field. They're going to put some bleachers in there that can stay there
We've gone
permanently.
through that.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, I mean, so the Gophers get a big win out of this, but they're always complaining about athletic budget.
yeah.
It seems to me that Norwood Teague just got a windfall to work with.
Another
Yep.
thing, they're going
Another
to
thing.
make the concession stands better.
Yeah.
The only stadium we got to worry about now is Williams Arena. What are we going to do with that dump?
If they win, it'll take care of itself. What about the practice facility? That's about where we're down to a practice facility.
Is that in the next paragraph?
Didn't I read that that the new president thinks the way to do it is to remodel Williams Arena and turn the pavilion into the practice facility? I thought I read that.
Why would you not do that, really?
You talked about that.
But I mean, why not do that?
I heard somebody on the radio say they interviewed a bunch of kids that were recruits.
What they're going to do now.
Hold on. I'm talking. Just turn this up just a little bit. They talked to 5 recruits. They said, what's important to you? And nobody mentioned the practice facility. Everybody said winning is the most important.
Oh, I thought they said Camaros.
You really think that?
I think probably, yeah.
What do you think, Sid?
Well, they asked the kids. I mean, that's what they said.
Yeah.
These weren't guys going to Kentucky, by the way.
Yeah.
Put it
These are
this
guys
way,
trying
I'm
to
for the
decide between
practice
Minnesota
facility,
and Iowa State.
Right.
but they've never recruited in the last 15 years of what you'd call a real superstar basketball player, except for the local guys, for some reason. And before Musselman, Dutcher, they did some things to get those guys here, but it's not the same now.
Archie Clark, David Thompson, Michael Thompson. We don't see those kind of players anymore.
Well, 8 or 10 of them. They go to 8 or 10 schools. You know.
Yeah.
There's 200 schools that can say the same thing.
Best player in the country is looking at Duke and Michigan State.
Right, but you know what? Wisconsin proved that's okay. You can still win Big Ten
Yeah,
titles.
but unfortunately, you can't watch it. But it's,
You can't watch it, but you can win. No, yeah, it's unwatchable, but that has
You
nothing
don't
to do
want
with
to
it.
watch
The
it.
kid from here, the best basketball player
Jordan
in history. of
Taylor, you mean, that went over
mankind,
there?
He's Duke or Michigan State, right?
No, I'm sorry. Which one was
Tyus
Jones.
Yeah, I would say Duke and Michigan State are at least 2 of the favorites.
They're down to the end.
I mean, they will be there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got time to decide.
He's
but
not
yeah.
coming here.
I think it'd be a long shot, but
I think you're
Ohio
right.
State's in there pretty good on him, too. Take
Yeah.
a break, come back. Boulevard. Sydney, I don't have a good feeling about the Twins right now.
Well, I think they set some kind of a record when they left 32 guys on base in 4 games.
Now, they won. Well, they won today.
I've never heard that before.
They won today, but Toronto, I've never seen a team walk so many people like Toronto did.
Yeah.
I think it was what was the walks? 20.
It was 22 at one point today for 4
28
games.
in 4 games or
Yeah.
something. But hey, Scott Diamond, he's been a breath of fresh air, hasn't he? 7 scoreless innings twice against the Angels, which is a right-handed hit lineup, and against these Toronto Mashers, you got to be impressed with that.
And you go the other night to Jason Marquis, 46 strikes and 40 balls.
Yeah.
You can't have a pitch count like
With the
that.
pop-up to boot, right?
You know what's amazing, though? We gave him so much heat about the guys they signed. Willingham's been good. Dolman's been okay. And Caps has been really good. So
And Carroll's a ball player.
And Carroll's, yeah, fine. I mean, Marquis was a waste of time, but it's just that the rest of it's not good enough.
I've never
bottom-
seen so many bad at bats.
Oof.
I'm
Got Danny
just-
Valencia back on the bus.
This poor Trevor Plouffe, I mean, the poor kid's just his head's
Hit a
spinning.
double today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's still a kid. You got to play till the All-Star break and see if he's got. There's something there, but
how
boy,
does Hutchison feel when he walks Plouffe with the bases loaded hitting 137?
Not good.
But I mean, I've never seen so many balls that it's like they know a slider's coming, and they're still going to swing at the slider that's outside the strike zone.
Yeah.
Those young players. Anyway, Sid.
Well, the bottom of that batting order is brutal. I was talking to Gardy about it today.
And you can get caught. You can get caught where you have 2 innings where you don't have a
5
good
guys
hitter
on
coming
the-
up.
If they can get Morneau back healthy, but I don't think they will. I think this thing
That's
is
going to be another 10 days, right? At least.
no, they hope he
for
plays
Morneau?
on.
May
They hope he
16th.
plays on a road trip.
May 16th. The one thing is they got 70 games left with their own division. They've only played 2 games with their own
That's
division.
incredible, too.
2 games at Kansas City. All the rest of the games have been played against other teams. So maybe they can get going.
I heard Terry Ryan with Eric Nelson yesterday, and Terry Ryan didn't sound very enthusiastic. I mean, he's Terry Ryan, and he's always going to project that air of we can get him, we got to play harder, we got to do this, we got to do that. But when you listen to it, the verbiage, they really are up against it. They don't have any pitching. The farm system has failed, and right now, I mean, it's a nightmare. It's got to be a nightmare for these guys.
Shortstop, I think, might be a player.
Yeah,
Dozier.
boy, he's got good feet,
he
hands,
looks
soft
like
hands.
yeah,
And he
no.
seems like a kid that doesn't get too overwhelmed.
You got to see 300 at bats first.
For sure, yeah.
You
But
know,
he looks like he can move and throw and do some of those
Anybody that thought Valencia was a ball
things.
player
I think
was wrong.
they'd like to put Dozier at third, maybe, some would, and bring up this kid that they signed from Baltimore. And
That's
put him at short.
ridiculous. That kid will hit 140.
Which kid?
Florman. He's got no chance to hit.
Do you think we'll ever see Danny Valencia again?
No.
don't
I
either.
would. My knee jerk would be no, but we've said that about different Glenn Perkins before. We've said guys, you know, we've
Three-man
seen
show
things.
here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
do
what do you
see
think?
Valencia
Do you think
again?
he's
What do you
gonna go?
think? He asked the question. I just said no, Sid. You were
Yeah, you
Danny
vote.
Valencia, your thoughts?
My thoughts are just what he said about this team. I don't think they're going to go anyplace, but like I
But
said,
Danny Valencia, do you think he's a major league ball player?
Who?
Danny
Valencia,
Valencia.
you think he'll be back?
I think he'd be back, yeah.
Okay.
He went 0 for 4 the first game, I know that.
That's
I mean,
not going to tell the tale.
here's the thing. They're driving Ted Vera, what's his batting coach?
Joe
name?
Vavra.
Joe Vavra.
They're driving him crazy. They won't listen to him. They do it on their own. That's one reason they send him down.
This
wouldn't
is
listen.
going to be an audition season. You're going to have 50 players come through here this year.
That could be.
Yeah,
50
They're gonna-
players.
That's just
I don't
weird.
think.
Well, the
I don't
difference-
think 3 weeks ago we could have imagined a platoon of Komatsu and Mastriani.
Didn't see that one.
It's,
Hey, bring a kid up to hit 140.
I know.
The difference
what?
is
No.
Go ahead.
the difference is in 1981 and 1982. We're talking to Laudner about it yesterday. They had all these pretty good guys to bring up, and eventually they won a World Series in '87. They don't have that anymore.
Well, they don't know what they've got at Visalia.
But they had Herbeck and Gaetti. They had some difference makers when they redid it in '82 and brought in all the rookies. There's not. You, Bernansky, you knew these guys were going to be players. The trouble now is you're auditioning guys who you don't think are going to be players.
That's
Except
what I'm
for
saying.
Dozier.
Isn't the part of the problem that Dozier should be at AAA
No, he should be right where he is.
Well-
he's a big league player.
right now?
Yes,
Okay.
he's a big league player. He should have been there April 6th.
Yeah, although maybe he got some confidence down in the
Oh,
first.
yeah, I know what always happens, though. They say, well, he's not coming in on balls as well as he should. So that's it? That's the only flaw you can come up with? You see the guys you're playing? Look at them. If that's his only flaw, I'll take
I've
it.
seen some
Okay.
things this year that I never thought I'd
All
see
right.
with the Twins.
Let me ask you this. Is there anybody other than Dozier down on the farm that you like?
I want to see Aaron Hicks after the All-Star break in center field for 10 weeks and see if he can play.
Who you
Just
want
rush
to see?
him along.
Hicks.
Hicks?
And we'll probably see Revere again at some point in
I
time.
would
sitting
assume
down
so.
there.
But
Take a
Hicks
break,
is the
come
only
back.
guy that's got a chance to make.
One more baseball question before we move on. How do you explain Jose Bautista being able to hit like that? Even
To
when
hit more
he's in
home
this
runs than anybody.
He's in this terrible slump right now, and he gets.
I told those Toronto guys they were leaving after the game. I says, would you possibly trade him to the Twins? I mean, he's in a bad slump right now. Got a 5-year contract, so and that's like nothing like that could
How
happen.
about Josh Hamill? He has more home runs after 41 games than anybody in the history of baseball. 18.
That's
See
amazing.
something?
He had 4 the one night. He had 1
He's
the night
had-
before, so he had 5 and 6 at
He had
bats.
6 in his last 4 games. He's unbelievable.
Who, Hamilton?
Hamilton.
Hamilton,
Oh.
yeah.
Are they the best team in baseball?
Here's a good case.
They probably are.
Here's a good case where they say, get rid of these bums. Get rid of these guys that are on drugs. Get rid of them. Like Grant said, if they can play, we'll keep them.
Trouble is, when Bud said that, they didn't have drug testing. They have drug testing now. If he gets popped, it's 50 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is more at stake
Yeah,
for that.
a little bit more.
Well, the manager didn't test it positive and he kept his job.
Ron Washington, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ron Washington.
Yeah. NBA playoffs doing anything for you right now?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a good team. I mean, Lakers are ordinary.
Miami's good.
I don't know who's
Oklahoma City's more fun than the circus, man.
They
They're
are.
great.
Especially when they play at Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they're
You
great.
feel
They're
that
a lot
on
of fun
TV.
to watch.
They got 6 guys that can really play.
Yeah, Scotty Brooks does a nice job with that team.
Yeah, he does.
But
You think,
Durant's really fun.
You think Ron Artest is going to get booed when they play Oklahoma City? the first
Just a
time?
little, huh? How about the NHL playoffs? You like the Rangers still?
Rangers? I know nothing about that hockey, but I know the Rangers got a pretty good team there.
They won the other
They're
night.
going to play
The Devils.
Jay Parisi now for what
Jack
happened.
Jack
East
Parisi.
Coast.
Dark, who you like so far?
Well, the Rangers have been extended in both series against Boston and in the series with Washington. But it's been really good hockey. If you like hockey, it's been really special.
Jersey. Happy for
playing
Doug
better than
Riseborough.
New Jersey's
He's right
playing better
there.
than the Rangers.
Yeah. Brodeur.
That should be a good series. A little bus series there, kind of
yeah.
fun.
And two
huh?
great goalies.
And two great goalies. Yeah, yeah.
You know, when Zach Parisi's trying to figure out where he wants to be a free agent, you play out east, Maxie. Washington, Philly, New York.
You don't travel
Your
much.
travel time's about 20 minutes a week.
See you back here next week, everybody.